information. I have General J.J. Singh joining us at this point, former Chief of Army Staff. Sushant Sareen ji, Senior Fellow at ORF, Strategic Affairs Expert is with us. And we also have Dr. Kamar Cheema, Strategic and Political Analyst, Pakistan. General Saab, Namaste. Sushant ji, Namaste. Kamar Cheema ji, Namaste. General Saab, let me first ask you, if this is the build-up that's happening, and we are given to understand the jihadi tanzeems are getting restless. They were asked to stay dormant or quiet till the time the FATF grey list Pakistan moved up and there was clarity there and there was a certain settlement as far as ceasefire is concerned. But the pressure is mounting with these tanzeems getting restless. What should India do? Should we still wait and watch, wait for them to come here, or should we launch something which is preemptive?
Anand, in my opinion, Pakistan is getting more and more frustrated because their original plan of PoK is no longer visible. It's disappeared. What they tried to do in 3 stages to grab some parts of Kashmir, if they could not do it in conventional war, they have tried to do with the proxy war. It is clearly failed. Today, Kashmir, with the abrogation of Article 370, is very manageable because there is no political interference in the actions of the government of the day. And what is being seen, I just spent a week in various parts of Kashmir, which included Baramulla, Uri, Gulmarg, Sonamarg, Pahalgam and Srinagar. And I came to the conclusion that the people want peace so that there is prosperity. Also, one recent case, which is the beginning of the, I would say, snowball effect, is the fact that in a village in Kashmir, it is in Riyasi district, the Pakistani LET commander Talib Hussain and another militant were handed over by the people who overpowered them and handed them to the police. Now this is where the role of the people is happening, and I feel Kashmir is going to see its future written in golden letters. Second point, the PoK people are watching with interest what's going on in India and in Kashmir, and if they see the kind of development taking place with the railway line, the activity in the airports, the roads being widened, they feel that they are totally neglected and they are going to themselves fall into our lap. We don't have to do much according to my judgment. In a few years they will opt to be with India and we will be with the rest of Kashmir.
So, but what do we do with these tanzeems? Because these tanzeems are operating on what is sovereign Indian soil. They may be occupied by the Pakistanis, but they are very close to where they are. And we've also seen their effort to dig tunnels. They may have 200, 300 of their cadre there, and if there are more, because there are a lot of them who are turning jihadis because there is no other occupation. There's nothing else to do. Here at least there is some sort of guarantee that is given to them.
Yeah.
And they believe and they are being fed all these dreams of glory, etc. General Saab. So how does India counter this? Do we wait for a few years?
Yes, Anand. Yes, we have already our strategy in place. That is to give the people a fair chance to progress in their lives and to develop their area, and without any, I would say, without any interest of politicians, which was always playing a game to keep themselves in power. Today there is a government of the Lieutenant Governor and they are going to deliver the goods. I only appeal to them to do it faster and give the youth the jobs that they are looking for and give the people a corruption-free government which they are looking for. And with that strategy, and the armed forces are winning the hearts and minds of the people in a very good way. I have seen it physically on the ground. As also the terrorists have been eliminated, the incidents of terrorist attacks have reduced, so also infiltration. They may train them in any number of camps. I know those camps, and some of them we have also hit directly or indirectly. So we will take appropriate action. Anand, I can assure you that our armed forces are prepared to ensure that there is peace, and as a result of that peace, there will be aman and khushhali, peace and prosperity.
True, and the point is that the number of lives that have been claimed by these Pakistani bullets, somebody has to make them count those. But what they are also doing is that this is the only narrative that's working for them. General Sahab, I'm just bringing in Sushant Sareen and Dr. Kamar Cheema, and then I'll come back to you, sir. Sushant Sareen, this K bogie is the only one that's working. Now, we've got information, and we discussed this on Friday, and this is an extension. Friday, we talked about the launch pads. Today, we are talking about the terror camps. You talked about Bakht Zameen. Now, actually, in Chakargarh, Asghar Kashmiri has been seen. Rauf Asghar has been seen. Chakargarh is the Jaish hand. Manshera is with Al-Badr, and Bakht Zameen has been seen there. So all of these these aspects come in as far as the faces of terror. But there is this desperation, there is this slight confidence where they believe that FATF की grey list से हम उठ जाएंगे तो हमको हमारी हरकत करने दो. There is also a desperation to do some कारनामा ahead of India's Independence Day, that is 15th of August, and to try and do it between the 5th and 15th for various reasons.
So, Anand, I think the report which we had discussed on last Friday, I believe, I think the report which you are released today puts more meat in that particular report. In fact, it corroborates that report. As to what is the motivation, is it merely to strike at India and create some kind of a splash, or is there something even more sinister? I will present to you a possibility which I don't think we should ignore entirely. Look at the situation inside Pakistan. The economy is on the verge of failure. You have a politics which is so toxic that it has become completely dysfunctional. You have a judiciary which is so compromised that you won't even employ one of the Supreme Court judges as a law clerk or a munshi somewhere, given the kind of judgments they are giving. Overruling their own judgments and contradicting their own judgments, destabilizing the country in the process. You have an army which is no longer effective and which is being abused left, right and center by everybody. Now, normally we have seen that in a situation like this, where the country is going down the gutter, what the Pakistanis do is try and create a distraction. Now, they know the Indian doctrine of retaliation. I wonder if this activity or this enhanced activity which we are seeing along the line of control might be actually to provoke some retaliation from India, because then the Pakistan army thinks that it can consolidate support behind it, wave the India threat and stuff like that. It's happened in the past and it could be happening once again. So that brings me to the question which you had put to General Singh. And it's a dilemma. Should you preempt this kind of an attack and then play into the hands of the enemy, or should you let the enemy kind of stew in its own juice and watch the enemy self-destruct? So I think it's a bit of a dilemma for Indian policymakers. Clearly, the reports which you have in your possession, obviously it's not your investigations editor or somebody, your investigative reporter, who has gone, and dug out this information. It's obviously information which has been shared by
government,
which means that the government of India and the armed forces and the security agencies are entirely aware, because we've been getting these reports even for about at least 6-7 months. The army has been repeatedly warning that some of these launch pads have been activated, that the terror camps are back in action. We've been warning about that. Now, if something untoward was to happen over the next couple of weeks, maybe over the next month or so, I think there will be a question before the government whether we should retaliate as per the doctrine, or whether we should let it pass and let the Pakistanis stew in their juice, not give any distraction to the self-destruct mode that the Pakistanis are on. So I think that will remain a bit of a dilemma going forward.
Right.
But the retaliation option has to be kept alive, even if the Pakistanis are able to consolidate some support. Look, the problem is going to be that even if there is some support for the Pakistanis at this point in time, what do they do about their economy, which is completely broken? And the kind of tariffs which they have to raise, the kind of borrowings which they have to do, the fact that it's completely bankrupt. They're borrowing more money every day to pay off old loans and raising their debt in the process. So I think they have their back against the wall, but given the Pakistani proclivity of doing something when they have the back to the wall, so that they give a message that they are not all finished. But I think they're heading towards being finished very fast at the rate at which they are going and the self-destruct mode they are in.
Right. Dr.